I'm standing here on what is a very big altar, not a stage as it looks, which is here above the village of Csíksomlyó, which is down the hill there. And in a few days' time this place will be filled with priests and choirs and various other Catholic paraphernalia, whilst out there will be a congregation of nearly 500,000 people who will have come from all over the Hungarian-speaking world, Roman Catholics from all over the Hungarian-speaking world, who come here to celebrate the annual Whitsun Pentecost pilgrimage to Csíksomlyó, the village. The reason that they come here is because in the 15th century a Hungarian king led a force here to convert the Székely, the people from this area, to Protestantism. And the Székelys resisted and won some battle that took place here, and they remained Catholic. And the pilgrimage now happens every year at Whitsun to celebrate that event. It's also become tied in with a statue of the Virgin which resides in the cathedral down the bottom of the hill, and that statue is also very sacred for the local people. It's a wooden statue which apparently survived when the church was burned to the ground by the Tatars or the Turks, and it also has survived and thrived in different other situations, even though it's some hundreds of years old. So it's sacred to the people here, this statue, and they come here. In the church they go and they kiss the statue, but here they come and they celebrate this victory. But interestingly enough, that things have changed slightly over the years, and particularly, I believe, under the communist system, this pilgrimage wasn't really able to be made, or people couldn't really come here. And so since that time, since the end of Ceausescu, the people have come here, and it's become more of a celebration of Hungarian nationalism in a sense. Or not, it's partly religious and partly Hungarian celebration, which means you have this interesting situation whereby people who are not Catholic and who are in fact the descendants of those Protestants who were defeated then also come here, and you have this kind of interesting Hungarian event where it's not only Catholics who come here, although it is a Catholic Mass that takes place, but it's also Hungarian Reformed Church members who come and make their pilgrimage here for reasons of Hungarianness rather than reasons of religion.
So here we are at the entrance to Csíksomlyó, which is where the pilgrimage takes place, and as you can see we have a large number of pilgrims climbing the hill and singing. I'm not quite sure what this song is, it's some Hungarian song, and lots of religious banners, those represent the churches that they come from, and lots of Hungarian flags, which is an interesting facet of this theoretically religious celebration. It has a nationalistic side to it as well. And of course the church is always very willing to go along with nationalism, in my opinion. I'll just let you watch and listen to some of this. Behind them is another big group from Csíksomlyó. I don't know if you know where that is, but it must be here somewhere because it has Csík at the beginning. It's in the Csík area. And then you'll see over there, there is as the police direct the traffic around everybody, there is a banner that says Australia. A Hungarian flag that says Australia on it, so there's the Australian group who've come, which gives you an idea of how far people come to this pilgrimage. Ausztráliai magyarok, Australian Hungarians, that banner is representing. And a lot of people in traditional costumes is very popular. I should point out here that we're at least 3 miles away from where the pilgrims are going to. This is just essentially down there at the bottom of the hill is where the bus park is. So they all have to walk from there, the ones who've come by bus. And there are many people who've walked over the hills, walked from their village to here in a pilgrimage style. Behind me here you can see the Cathedral of Csíksomlyó, which is the resting place of the statue of the Virgin, which forms the centerpiece of this pilgrimage. And this is not where everyone is going. This is just the place where the statue remains most of the year. Everyone is actually going up the hill, and if Dinesh will swing up the hill, you will begin to see the stream of people walking up the hill towards the altar, which is up on the hillside there. And this is where the Mass will be in about 2 hours from now. And there's, as you can see, already thousands of people heading up there, and by the time it's finished, there'll be close to 500,000 people up there on the hill, or at least around this hill, which for a town of 45,000 is a large number of people. The rivers of people coming up towards the Mass. It's still about an hour and a half before the Mass is due to start, maybe even longer, and already the top of the hill is probably full, but still more and more people are coming. We have the banners from the different places. This one is there's a man walked in front of us there. This one is from Csíksomlyó. This is now we see a monk. It's a very hot day today. I'm not quite sure how everyone is going to survive. There's, as you'll see as the people walk up the hill, there's a lot of elderly people who come to this celebration, and there's a lot of climbing involved, and it's probably already 30 degrees and it's very sunny, and I hope everyone will be okay. It's a little bit, it's hotter than I remember it before in this time of the year, so we have to hope for the best. Many people have already reached the top. A lot of the church groups who've come from all over Transylvania and from Hungary and from various other places have reached the top of the hill. Here we see, I can't know if you can see in the back behind me, there is a banner from the town of Lugos, which is a town not very far from Timișoara, and it's famous in English because it's the home, or it's the birthplace of Bela Lugosi, who was the famous actor who played Dracula in many Broadway plays and films in the early days of Hollywood. His name wasn't actually originally Lugosi. His name was something else, which I did once know, but I no longer know. But he changed it to Lugosi because he was from Lugos, and that's what Lugosi means. Many more people coming up now, more banners. You'll see the church, each church has its own banner this way, with its embroidered or picture with the cross and the name of the church and the village. And we have a preponderance of Hungarian flags, as before, but not that many in fact. Further down the hill I can see a banner from a town called Balaton Szabad, which must mean Free Lake Balaton. It must be a town called Freedom or something on Lake Balaton in Hungary. There's another side of the hill where you can walk up and follow the Stations of the Cross, I believe. As you climb up the hill from the church at the bottom of the hill up to the top of the hill, you go through the 7 Stations of the Cross. It's a pretty impressive sight, but we're still at least an hour before the Mass begins. Let me just check the time. I think it starts at 12:30, and yeah, it's just 11 o'clock, so it's an hour and a half yet to go before we get the Mass. And everybody is going forward. An announcement has just been made over the speaker that people shouldn't undress because this is a religious ceremony and people don't need to be indecent, because of course it's so warm now that everybody's taking their clothes off the moment they get to the top of the hill, having climbed the hill and taken care of the exhausting part of the day getting up the hill. They are of course all stripping off, and the man over the speaker has just apparently said, please do not get undressed, this is a religious event and you shouldn't be indecent. But I can't imagine that most people aren't going to at least take off their shirts, because it really is very, very warm. People have come up here with wheelchairs, with pushchairs, with drinks, with everything. And now you can hear in the background, I'm not sure if you can still hear me, but in the background you can hear the singing. In the background you can hear the singing as those people walk past me. And you can see and all of the banners represent the different places where people have come from. The banner from the Slovakian town we saw on the way up is over there. There's some people walking up behind the stage there. I guess there's something at the top of the hill there that people do first. I'm not really sure about that because you can see that there's a group of people up the top of the hill. Apparently a plane is going to fly over today and take pictures of the whole crowd. So as I look down, you can see the banners of all of the different churches from the different villages. There's many people in traditional costume. There's two gendarmes there in traditional gendarme costume just walking past the picture. And many people in seke costume, different kind of Hungarian costumes, hussars, other kinds of Hungarian traditional military or other costumes, people in religious outfits, monks and so on. Here's a group of seke children. That hat doesn't look like it fits that costume that man is wearing, that priest, but never mind. Here are some seke girls walking past. I don't know if you can see them in the picture. And it's, as I say, very hot. You can see that girl has got an umbrella over her. That's very nice for her. She's lucky. More and more people climbing the hill, climbing up to behind the altar. I'm not quite sure what's up there. Some kind of chapel is behind us. We have the various different groups down on the hillside. A number of people with a Hungarian flag, a number of people with the Hungarian flag with the crest in the middle of it, I don't know what that crest is, but the sort of the old Hungarian flag. A number of people with the Arpad flag, which is that red and white striped one, which these days in Hungary is a symbol of the far right. I hope it's not a symbol of the far right here today, but... Here are some priests in very fetching Hungarian priest costumes, green, red and white. They are, and here are some priests in some kind of black costume with a Maltese cross. I believe that's the Maltese cross, that cross. Here is somebody coming up with, I don't know what that is, some kind of large bell. It looks like a bell, but they're getting shade from underneath it, that's for sure. And they're bringing up the ropes. Very interesting. So nobody can cross their group or something.